All right, you guys, we are here at the gym. It is officially the start of the bulk. We're done with the maintenance phase. We did about 4 weeks of maintenance. I feel really good, weighing at about 162. So just about 3-4 pounds up from stage, which is going to be mostly water and a little bit of fat, but that's totally normal, healthy. I don't know what I'm sitting at in terms of body fat percentage. I'm not going to do the math. On stage, we're like 7% or so. Ideally, when we try to get our pro card, we want to be a little bit leaner. We're going to try for about 5%, on the DEXA. So really, the plan for the bulk is to lean bulk for the next, December, January, February, March, April. So about 5-6 months. Try to bulk up to probably about 170. And then from there, try to cut and see where we land, and also try to put on a bit more muscle during the cut too, because I think I'm still a believer that you can do that. And I've done it last time, so I think I can do it again this time. But hopefully then we'll step on stage at around the same weight, but at a lower body fat percentage because we'll have more muscle. So today we're going to go hit some chest and some triceps. Really going to start focusing. Going to pretty much do some periodization where the next 8 weeks I'm going to focus like most of my volume on my chest to try to get that to grow. Chest, and I'm thinking shoulders and triceps, I guess I'll use. And then, I really need to grow my back. So thinking probably that back periodization should probably be. I gotta think about it a bit more. Let me think. Yeah, I guess I'll have to do some yeah, it's probably just easiest just to put the periodization into the split that I have it, like chest and triceps, grow those the most and hit those with the most volume. And then excuse me. And then back and biceps, and then quads and probably calves and hamstrings and glutes. God, need everything to grow, truthfully, everything. But realistically, we can only put on about 3, 4, maybe 5 pounds of muscle over the course of the next year. So, just got to try to distribute it evenly everywhere, but specifically have some areas to focus on. So, yeah, let's hit in there. All right, guys. So after some deep thought and analysis of my physique and also my training routine on the last cut, decided that what's going to happen is I was going from 8 to 10 sets of pretty much everything except for back. Back, it was pretty much just 8 sets, and 8 to 10 sets of everything to failure. And I noticed in my pictures that back needed the biggest improvement in terms of thickness and size. So its conditioning was probably better than the other parts, but it definitely needs more size. So we're gonna prioritize the back for the next probably 8 weeks or so. So everything else, I'm gonna up the volume just from about 8 to 10 sets to like chest today, did about 12 sets. So we'll be doing about 12 weekly sets to failure. That's still on the lower end of what most people do, but then when it comes to back, we'll probably be doing anywhere between 16 to 20 sets from now on until I feel like that has gained a little bit of size. And then we'll switch that to the chest and the triceps, and then reduce the back training down to about 12 sets. And then we'll probably finish the bulk the last 2 months with some quad and glute and calf. just overall legs size training, and increase those to about 16 to 20 weekly sets. Because we're on a bulk now, that's when we can do higher amounts of volumes, but specifically just on one area is my belief. If you did this with every muscle group, most people would not be able to recover, because most of us work damn jobs and stuff. Bodybuilding isn't our job. So, but yeah, anyways, we did some chest, some abs, triceps today. Let's see how the pump looks. I'm gonna put this down. Oh yeah. Chest looks big. Chest looks swole. Very good. See the triceps. Look at that. More. Where's that? Let's get out of here because we got work to do. All right, you guys. So we finished that chest, shoulders, triceps, abs workout. Pretty good one. Felt like a good pump. Now it's time for some of those bulking tips that were promised in the title of the video. So yeah, like I said earlier, I really think when you guys bulk, there should be, you can't really do high volume for everything. You're like, most of us just don't have the recovery, we don't have the genetics, the gear, the supplementation, and most importantly, the time to be in the gym, you know, an hour and a half a day, so 5 days a week. Plus cardio on top of that if you're really trying to stay lean too and you don't have an active job and you have to get some steps in, it's just not going to work out. So what I recommend is specializing every 8 weeks or so on a certain period or muscle that you want to like grow more. You know, if you want to grow everything, then you could just do a moderate volume for everything and just slowly grow there, you know. But my theory and understanding from the science suggests that we can maintain high volumes on 1-2 muscle groups, but that's not sustainable across all muscle groups if you're trying to bulk, probably for most people. So that whole, like, you know, study with the whole 40 sets thing, remember they were only training like quads, like just quads or something. So you know, really we should take that with a grain of salt. Like, you can't do 40 sets for everything, you know. So especially when you're like me and you like to train to failure for pretty much every set, the volume should then be lower, you know. So yeah, those are some tips when it comes to structuring your program. You know, specialize and pick 1 or 2 muscle groups that you want to grow for a few months, like 2 to 3 months. Hit those with really high volume and high intensity. Everything else with a lower, moderate volume and a high intensity still. And then, you know, then see how it goes. If it works for you, great. If not, you know, then do what works for you. Maybe try something else, but I'm pretty sure it'll work for 99% of people. people. Works for me. So works for everyone else I've had them do it. But yeah, when it comes to the diet, we're going to be just eating about 100, maybe 150 surplus calories. I really want this bulk to be as lean as possible. Don't want to really put on any excess body fat since we're trying to compete for our pro card. Probably in the next year. Yeah, no, in the next year for sure, but probably in the next 10 months, ideally, because I really don't want to do it again in October. I'd like to do it before then. And then, bulk through the fall and the winter next year. Then keep going from there. But at the same time, I really didn't want to have to diet through the summer, but it looks like it's what's going to have to be done is, we got to swallow that pill, diet through the summer. We don't get to have fun and, compete before the summer and then bulk through it. We just don't have the time to add the needed amount of muscle that I think to really be competitive for the pro card. So still got to decide on the show, see what's around the September, end of August to the end of September timeline. See what's coming up around there. But yeah, so your diet shouldn't be anything crazy, guys. It should be, again, mostly whole foods, only a small surplus, 100 to 200 calories. So I'm falling right in the middle at about 150. Yeah, and you should be, obviously focusing on rest, recovery. If you don't have an active job, then I recommend you guys still get some steps in, at least between 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day on a bulk so that your metabolism is still pretty good. You don't put on too much excess fat. Ideally, if you could hit 10,000 a day, then that'd be best. But yeah, so just focus on that. And number one thing, guys, is hitting that recovery, hitting your sleep. Doesn't matter how hard you're training, how good your diet is, if you don't get enough sleep to actually recover and grow the muscle. So remember, sleep is your number one thing when it comes to either bulking or fat loss. It pretty much doesn't matter if everything else is in check. If you only sleep 4 to 5 crappy hours a night, you gotta get at least 7 to 8 hours. Very few people can recover on 6 hours. No one can recover on, especially if you're lifting heavy and hard. No one can recover on 5 hours of sleep. Okay, so yeah, sleep's gonna be your best friend during your bulk, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.